Sir, I admire your actually Sandeep Maheshwari spirituality thing, and I have since my childhood I've always wondered who am I, what am I doing here on earth, who are all these people. I've always inquired about these things, and through your sessions I have also understood that this is this body and there is this mind. But after that I don't know how to move forward. I have heard you say that what sees through me is the same thing that sees through you. So how do we know that what consciousness through me is the same as consciousness through you? How can we understand that?
You are right now sitting in Karnataka, right?
Yes.
I am in Delhi. So the water in your body, is it different from water in my body?
It's the same.
It's the same.
It's the same.
Is there any doubt about it?
No doubt.
No doubt, right? No. Water is water. It's not your water or my water. So how come the consciousness be yours or mine? Consciousness is consciousness. The content of consciousness is different.
Okay.
The content of your consciousness, which we call as memory, the memory in your brain is based upon the experiences and the knowledge that you have acquired over your lifetime, which is different from my knowledge and my experience. So the memory in this brain is different from memory in your brain. So from the content perspective, we can call it there is a difference. But consciousness is not different. For example, there is a light which is illuminating your body and there is a light which is illuminating my body. So these bodies are different, but the light is the same. Is there a difference in light? Is the light in Bangalore different from the light in Delhi? The source is the same, which is electricity, and electricity is electricity. It's not Bangalore electricity or Delhi electricity. The difference is not in consciousness, because consciousness is everywhere. This is what needs to be understood properly. Consciousness does not come and go. For example, if we take out the eyes from a particular body, that body can no longer be conscious of the sight. But the consciousness is still there. Because if we put back the eyes again from some other person in that body, because now the science has evolved up to such an extent that we can do all these things. We can play with all these things, right? We can take out the eyes and we can put back the eyes. It's not as if we are changing the consciousness. Consciousness is still there, untouched. So consciousness is always untouched. Consciousness is the very ground of all this. Like consciousness is the very essence of this universe.
Can we call the same thing as God? Is that itself God?
That's a different concept altogether. One concept of God is that there is somebody who is more powerful than us, who looks like a human being, right? That is one concept. But the actual concept of God is the material of the whole universe, which is consciousness. So consciousness is not different from the essence of this universe. You're getting where I'm coming from. So our mind always thinks in duality. We think that these materials are different and consciousness is something else. It is not something else. We think that living is something else and non-living is something else. It is not something else. It is one whole movement.
Yes. Okay.
Without this universe, where is consciousness? And without consciousness, where is this universe? Without non-living elements in your body, where is the living? Without living, can we talk about non-living? So it is all interconnected and interdependent. One block. This is one block. It is not two separate things. At the level of our mind, we create this division between the two. Between living and non-living. Between God and somebody who is not God. You are God. Everybody is God. Who is not God? What is God? For example, from a river's point of view, without water there is no river. There is no bubble. There is no wave. Right? So we can call the God of that river is water. So you are made of that water. But we are calling ourselves as a bubble. This is enlightenment. We think that enlightenment is basically some mystical experience. We will sit somewhere under a tree for some days or some hours or whatever, and we'll get an experience and then we'll become enlightened. It's not that. Enlightenment means just to see things as it is.
But Gautama Buddha experienced something, I don't know what it is, but maybe because people have seen them, they go into that ecstatic moment and they are in that for hours together, days together. Sir, what do we make of that? I mean, I don't mean to be in that state, but then when people see that happening, going into that ecstatic state and being in bliss and everything, is that something that it's a hallucination? We ourselves, I don't want to put you in any controversies and things.
No, that's okay, that's okay. So what we need to understand is the kind of experience that you are talking about. Yes, there is an experience, but the point is your mind thinks that it's very difficult to experience it. That's a trap. Because what needs to be experienced is, it's here, it's now, which is beyond your senses. You don't have to perceive it through your senses. You can't perceive it through your senses, but it's there.
Is that sound of silence, sir? When
Exactly.
we close our ears?
Exactly.
See, I will be very more, what my understanding of sound of silence, I will just share with you. When I close my ears, I hear this same sound.
Right,
Any
right.
time of the day, night, but there is no other than just one stream. It keeps on going any time, and it is very loud, evident when it is quiet. When it is, of course, during daytimes, you can't hear it, of course. Is that the same thing that they are also experiencing, sir?
That is the same reality which all the Vedas and all the Upanishads and all the religious scriptures are talking about. Everybody is pointing towards the same reality. So whatever the definition of God is that is there in your mind, that you have read it from somewhere, don't ask somebody to explain it to you. Just read it somewhere in any book and now relate it to the sound of silence. You will get all the answers.
Okay.
It's always there. It's beyond time. It's beyond space.
Always there.
These bodies will
Always
come and go, but it's always there. It was there before the creation of this planet. It will always be there. That is the supreme reality. There is no experience there for that matter. Whatever we call as experience, it's basically through the senses. That's what you call as experience. And when we give a name or we put a label onto that experience, we call that as knowledge. So it's beyond experience, it's beyond knowledge. Because it's not through your senses, it's not in your memory. The sound of silence is not coming through your memory. It's there, it's the reality. It's more real than whatever you are perceiving through your senses. Because whatever you are perceiving through your senses can be questioned. But the sound of silence can't be questioned. Because we are not perceiving it through the senses. You can close your ears, it's still there.
Still there, yes. Yeah. And
It can't be killed. You must have read somewhere, fire cannot burn it. Any weapon cannot kill it. So just think, what is there in this universe that can't be killed by any of the weapons, that can't be burnt by fire, because everything can be burned by fire. Fire can burn everything, except the sound of silence.